Okay, we are recording. All right. We are on class 6, which is super exciting. Tonight is stress, sleep, and emotions. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Kayla Maylert. I'm a silver in doTERRA. I'm super excited to teach this class. I love teaching this class. A little bit about me and why I love to teach this class is I have a background in mental health and psychology and trauma. And so the importance of managing all of your mental health with emotions is huge. And I've done a ton of research into the mental health side of things, into the trauma side of things, and even into the sleep side of things for my own experience. And so teaching this class, I get to share all of this information with you guys, and you get to sit here and you get to listen to me talk about it, which is even better. And so definitely, if you have questions, jot them down, throw them in the chat box, and we'll get to them when we can. All right, so for everybody here, I want you to write down on a scale of 1 to 10, 0, like you sleep great, you're not stressed, 0, being totally calm, 10, like I'm stressed out, I don't sleep. If you're on the 0 end, let's chat afterwards because I want to know how you do that in your life because I'm impressed. But as you're writing down this number, as you're filling these in, we're going to talk about this a little bit. And there's something that we're all dealing with. So sometimes we get people who are like, oh, I don't really need oils. Like, I'm good. And I'm like, are you stressed? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, you need oils. We got you for that. And so think about that as you're writing this down. With everything that's been going on, we haven't exactly been living in the most peaceful year ever. And so if your sleep has decreased, your stress levels have gone up, make sure that you're kind of noting that too. And we're going to give you some tools of how we can help you, and having a really great start of where you're at and a baseline of where you're at is ideal. Okay. So I've noticed, even with stress stuff, right? Usually I sleep fairly well because I have a good oil routine, but there are nights I go to bed and my mind just still races more so than it used to. And so that's something to think about too. Has my sleep quality decreased or increased? Has anxiety increased, decreased, or anything like that? So make sure you're just jotting that down. Take a minute to do that. And we're going to see if there's some room for improvement. I think there's probably always room for improvement in your emotions, in your quality of sleep, and just stress throughout the day. All right. Everybody got these answered and written down? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So guys, when I teach, I know you can't like chat, but like I like the interaction. So nod, don't nod, make faces, whatever. I don't want to just sit up here and talk. I want you to interact. Okay. All right. Let's talk stress, sleep, and emotions. All right. So you filled out your scale. Anybody put a 0 down for anything? Raise your hand high if you put a 0 down because you're going to teach the rest of the class. Like we're just going to forego everything and you're going to teach it. Okay. That's what I thought. All right. So you have got your brain, your body, how stress, sleep, and emotions are connected is just incredible. Your emotions affect your sleep. Your stress affects your sleep. Your sleep affects your emotions. You know those nights that you run on 3 hours of sleep and then you cry about everything for 2 days? That's because you're tired, right? Like you're not losing your mind. It's because your body can't regulate your emotions. Your emotions are actual hormones, right? So there are these little chemicals that get released. And when you don't sleep, your body can't regulate that hormone production. And so this is also the reason that you crave sugar when you're tired, because your body can't regulate blood sugar as well, right? So we know that sleep plays just this huge overall role in our health, but we also know that our emotions and stress and all of this is connected, right? That's why we're teaching it all in one class, because they're so closely connected that you, in order to fix one or adjust one, you have to adjust the others, and then they're all just webbed together. Okay. So you have your hypothalamus in your brain. This is your tiny control tower in your brain, right? So this is the one with the little spinning light. Okay. When you're stressed, it orders the brain to send out those stress hormones, right? Now, again, when we talk about hormones, when we talk about chemicals, we're literally talking about little teeny tiny molecules of emotion, right? So oftentimes we think of like emotions are just feelings, and they are, but in order to experience an actual feeling, your body actually has to release an actual chemical. So it actually releases something physical that floats through your body, right? Pretend this is anger. It actually has to release that chemical. And so you physically have a little anger cell floating through your body, right? And so this is why sometimes people are like, I just don't feel like I can control my anger or my sadness. Like it just hits me like a wave. Well, because what happened was your body produced that actual chemical, that sadness chemical, that anger chemical or molecule, and it flooded your system. So sometimes you really can't control it. You can control your reaction to it, but it literally just hits you because your body flooded it. It's not, quote, just a feeling. It's actually a chemical reaction in your body, okay? So your stress hormones are designed to protect you. However, cortisol is our big stress hormone. And when you have too much cortisol, it keeps you into fight or flight. People who have post-traumatic stress, who are hypervigilant, who don't sleep, who have experienced a ton of trauma, live in a state of fight or flight. They live in elevated cortisol. And so these are the people that can fly off the handle really quickly. You're not sure why. And that cortisol can damage all sorts of things in your body. It can damage your liver function. It can damage your stomach. It can damage your intestinal tract. It can damage everything in your system. Now, the other side of that is if you stay in a heightened sense of stress or cortisol and your body's pumping cortisol, eventually your cortisol is going to burn out and then you're not going to react to anything. So you've probably heard somebody say, if you've been around anything stressful or anybody who's been through high stress or you've been through high stress, long term, you may hear people say like, I just don't really feel anything anymore. I don't really react. Numb is the word we hear. What has happened is their body has literally burnt out their cortisol response. So they went from staying in fight or flight to like, now they have nothing. So we know that fight or flight is really this idea that it kind of goes back to ancient times, right? Like you see a tiger or you see a lion, right? And you either fight or you run or you freeze, right? So your body releases this and you have a reaction. Okay, if you have been in cortisol for too long, you stay in that, like you run from everything or you fight everything, right? You're super agitated. The downside of that is that you don't respond to anything, right? So, quote, the lion's running after you and you kind of just sit and watch it and you're like, this is not going to end well, right? But your body's not responding. And so you don't run, you don't freeze, you just kind of are like, I think I'm going to get eaten today, right? That's kind of the like caveman explanation of it, okay? So that's what this is talking about with those frequent or prolonged brings devastating effects on your physical and mental well-being. I have lots of experience in this arena, and I'm happy to chat with anybody who really wants to dig in with this, lots of experience with it personally, as well as lots and lots of education and information that goes behind it. So symptoms of chronic stress, irritability, anxiety, depression, headaches, insomnia, poor immune function. If you get sick all the time, I encourage you to think through if you have anger, bitterness, or unforgiveness stored somewhere. Do you have a parent that you haven't forgiven from something years and years ago? Are you still angry about something that happened? Look for that unforgiveness, look for that anger, watch your triggers. What sets you off when you're angry? Who set you off when you're angry? Was it something they said or was it the person? And dig into that. And again, this is something that I've experienced, this poor immune function from some trauma that I have gone through. And for several years, I got sick all the time. Every time I started to even get remotely worn down, I got sick. And it was blowing my mind. And I'm like, I've never been this sick before. Well, it's because I had been in such a state of chronic stress and cortisol that my system was just shot. So be paying attention to that. If you're starting to get sick more often, if you've been through something stressful and then suddenly it feels like, man, I'm sick all the time, you probably have something going on that you haven't dealt with, okay? And then of course, increased blood pressure. We kind of know this, right? Like they kind of make fun of the guy who like turns red all the time when he gets angry, but this actually is a result of chronic stress and stored anger. And so that is something to be very aware of as well. All of that to say, chronic stress, high cortisol levels, or complete burnout are going to cause sleep issues, okay? So 70% of problems sleeping are related to physiological issues, 15% environmental, and 15% medical. So basically, very few sleep issues aren't controlled by something emotional or stress, right? Those molecules of emotion are typically what's controlling sleep issues, which is the beauty of essential oils, because we can actually help take care of 70% of problem sleeping with these incredible tools that we have, right? Like, nod your head if that's amazing. It's amazing, right? So everybody that tells you like, I don't sleep well, you like get out your little bottle and you're like, hey, I got an oil for that, right? Because you do, and you have something that will work for them, okay? So that increased cortisol level means your melatonin levels will not be able to rise as they should to promote restful sleep, right? Again, cortisol suppresses things because it puts you into a state of survival. All right, totally prolonged that one. Okay, if I didn't say I geek out on this stuff, you guys, I geek out on this stuff. So just hang with me, okay? You're gonna get way more information than you paid for, I promise, okay? All right, so let's talk about different regimens. Did I slip this? I feel like I skipped a slide. No, okay. Oh, there it is, okay. All right, so let's talk about some different ways to calm down, unwind at night. We're gonna talk a little bit about sleep hygiene as well. So if you didn't grab a piece of paper, grab one, because we're gonna talk about a couple different things. But I want you to also be thinking about what is it that keeps you up at night? Or if you're like, hey, I sleep okay, but my spouse doesn't, or sister doesn't, or whatever, I know somebody who doesn't, kind of be thinking through, what have they told you? Or is it high stress? Is it that they're on their phone for 3 hours before they go to bed? But we're gonna talk about a few things just to kind of do some good sleep hygiene. So the first one being, and I don't even want to say this to you because I don't want to be accountable for it, but you shouldn't have your phone in your bedrooms at night. Did we know this? We knew this, right? Like, we know it. Blue light actually decreases the amount of melatonin that your body can produce. And so when you're looking at a screen, your body can't actually produce the melatonin to go to sleep, right? This is, without fail, I would say this is hands down the #1 problem we have with sleep right now. People tell me all the time, I just don't sleep well. My first question, and it usually offends them and whatever, it's fine, right? Like, are you on your phone at night before you go to bed? Well, yeah. Like, that's blue light. That is causing it is causing a chemical reaction in your body that you don't want, okay? So I'm gonna do this with you guys. I'm gonna do it, right? Getting our phones out of our bedrooms, okay? Now, my excuse is that my husband's a first responder and he's gone at night, so like I need my phone at night. However, he is not gone every night. So my challenge to myself is to get my phone out of my room on nights that I don't need it in my bedroom, right? And then with that being said, it's also not enough just to get your phone out. You need to be off of it an hour before you go to bed. You've got to let melatonin produce, okay? This is going to be step #1 for even that, like, people who say, well, it's not my phone, it's my mind racing. Well, your phone actually overstimulates your brain. Your brain's not designed to take in as much information as what your phone is putting out. And so it's overstimulating your brain. So you also need to be off your phone completely for 45 minutes to an hour prior to going to bed. I know this seems like a crazy idea, but there are things called books, and they still come in a paper format, and you can get them. And there are also journals. These are both really incredible things for calming your brain. Calming your brain. This is what we did 15 years ago, remember? Got books, journals. I don't know if coloring, I don't think coloring books were a thing. You can color before bed. Do something that doesn't involve your screen. Do something that doesn't involve your screen. Even if it means putting your screen down, going for a walk, then coming home, washing your face with our really incredible skincare line, and then going to bed. Begin to create a routine that starts to get you away from your phone, okay? I am preaching to the choir, y'all. I'm right there with you, okay? So we've got our Serenity soft gels, and this is gonna be calming your nervous system, promotes healthy relaxation and sleep, which is amazing, okay? This is also something that if you struggle with PTSD, depression, overstimulation during the day, you can actually take Serenity during the day. And so this is really incredible for that as well. But 30 minutes before you go to bed, Serenity soft gels, these are going to help to calm the brain a little bit. And then Copaiba as well. So Copaiba is amazing for actually calming the whole nervous system. So compliantly, it soothes anxious feelings. Non-compliantly, it tells your whole sympathetic nervous system to chill out, right? This is the part of your nervous system that thinks you're being chased by a lion all the time. So what Copaiba does is it goes in and it tells your nervous system that thinks you're trying to be eaten by a lion and tells it to like calm down. Okay, so this is really important. I actually take Copaiba during the day as well to help with stress, to help keep that flight or fight response down. Okay, so these are incredible. Okay, there's also a couple other alternative nightly regimens. Your adaptive soft gels, we all love adaptive, right? Adaptive's incredible. And this is one that encourages relaxation, calms and promotes positive feelings. Again, this is one that you can take during the day and you can take at night. I always encourage people to mess around with this one a little bit and see what works best for your body. I have to take it during the day. Lavender for me winds me up. So I also don't take Serenity at night for that reason. So I came up with a alternative nighttime routine that works for me that doesn't have lavender in it. Right? So Copaiba being one of those things, as well as the Yarrow Palm capsules. These promote your cellular health, support the brain and skin. They also have Melissa in them, which boosts your serotonin, lowers your stress levels. Serotonin is your happy chemical. So when you go to bed at the end of the day, again, unless you are just living a land full of bliss, right? Which if you do, I'm coming to live with you, right? But Melissa actually boosts your serotonin, which makes you happier, which makes it easier to fall asleep. When we're in a state of peace, we fall asleep faster, right? So Yarrow Palm's amazing for that as well. And there's, again, different things. I'm looking at everybody on this call, and I know for a fact that we all use different things for sleep. Every single one of us, because I've had the sleep conversation with every single person on this call, right? We all use something different. We all switch through things. So make sure that you are trying a couple of these tried and true regimens for your sleep, and then alternate in eating as much as you need to do that. All right? All right, so love when we get a roller blend. So here's your hibernation roller. You can screenshot it, jot it down, but you're gonna combine 20 drops of each of these 4 oils in a roller. Top it off with your fractionated coconut oil. Apply to your feet, big toe, heart, palms of hands, and pillow, and then inhale deeply. Deep breaths, right? So you've got your frankincense, which we know is incredible for calming all things in your system, not only just your nervous system, but inflammation in the body in general. Prized for soothing and settling the mind, eases your hyperactivity. If you have a kiddo that has a hard time calming down, frankincense is a great one. I use frankincense and Copaiba for my 3-year-old because I have not found anything else that works super effectively for her for calming down. Frankincense and Copaiba do. Vetiver, I love that they say this is a natural tranquilizer. Okay, so this is a great one for that as well. If you're looking for a tranquilizer, this is the one. This stops your mind chatter. So if you're one of those people that lays in bed and you're like, I can't stop thinking about things or racing thoughts, vetiver is incredible for that. Vetiver was actually one of the first oils that I started using for sleep along with Serenity. So I used Serenity for a while and it's kind of lost its potency with me. And so I went straight to vetiver and mixed those two. So I have a very fond place in my heart for vetiver. Bergamot calls your agitation and stress natural sedative. Bergamot's also incredible for depression and PTSD. And the reason that it calms that agitation and that stress, and again, that's what these oils are just so incredible, is bergamot actually, so in your chemical makeup in your brain, you've got all your little chemicals, right? When you have PTSD, when you have depression, when you have anything like that, any kind of, quote, damage to your brain or your brain chemicals, you have missing pieces, right? So rather than like, here's your brain chemicals, right? Like you have these two and you have a missing spot. Bergamot, almost regardless of what you're missing,
can help substitute, right? So it helps fill in the gaps. And so it's really incredible for, again, calming that agitation, and kind of helping to round out the chemicals. It's gonna help promote chemical release of whatever you're missing, which is incredible. So again, post-traumatic stress, any kind of trauma, bergamot is your man. This is your go-to, okay? This is why it helps with sleep as well. And then Roman chamomile, we know, is calming, relaxing, soothes and clears the mind. It's very close chemically to lavender. And so it's really, really amazing for that as well. So you need something that can help actually to stop your mind chatter. And then Roman chamomile goes in and kind of like pushes the thoughts back out, so you can just go to sleep in peace, okay? Everybody get this written down, screenshotted. We're good? All right. All right, so this is our mood matrix. These are actually the original mood oils from doTERRA. So this is really cool. Again, go ahead and screenshot, jot it down, and kind of learn this one. Okay. Sorry. Make sure there's nobody in our waiting room. I'm so paranoid about leaving people out in the waiting room. Okay, so this is one that you really just kind of want to learn, keep in your brain. I encourage you to screenshot it actually, so you have it in your phone. And then take all these oils with you all the time. But kind of deciding, kind of trying to figure out, what exactly am I feeling? Am I feeling anxious, right? So if you're feeling anxious, you want to go towards that no peace side, right? So maybe serenity or balance, right? And again, kind of deciding, like, am I worn out and stressed out, or am I like super tired and overstimulated, and kind of trying to figure out where exactly these fit, okay? And so if you need to address emotions like feeling high strung or not being able to gather yourself or kind of just feeling flat, then you move through that space of feeling like no passion, exhaustion, and you kind of just move your way around, right? So again, these are your original oils. Serenity, we know, is great for feeling calming, composing, complacence, or placating, not complacent. That's another one, right? But just those feelings, right? So this is where you're gonna maybe grab out your Serenity and try that. And then of course we have Balance, right? We love Balance. This is our favorite, right? And this is a great one for just that grounding, reassuring, that consoling piece. This is one that I think most of us coaches use on the bottom of our feet every morning. And it's just a great place to keep, it's a great oil to keep you at base level, right? So knowing, like, I'm gonna get up, my 3-year-old's gonna be here, regardless of what day I wake up, like, she's gonna be here, right? We're gonna get to a point where she gets worn out with me, or I get worn out with her, we both get tired. Like, I know that moment's coming in our day. It's just coming. And so Balance is a great way to kind of offset that, right? So every morning you get up, you know you have to face the day. Put Balance on the bottom of your feet. Start out at baseline. Start with that grounding, that reassuring. It's a great place to actually start every single day. Okay, so then you've got your Citrus Bliss. So this is your invigorating, stimulating, motivating. It smells incredible. It's very energizing. This is a great one for if you're feeling emotionally exhausted. This is a good one for it, okay? It pairs really well with a lot of different oils. If you don't love the citrus oil, I love the smell of Citrus Bliss, but you can drop it in with Balance or Serenity, right? These mix really well together. So don't feel like, oh, I can only use one. Use them all if you need to, right? Hot Mess Blend is a roller bottle that I give out to a ton of people, and I know a lot of our other coaches use, and it has 3 of these oils. It has Serenity, Balance, and Citrus Bliss in it. And so it's a great one for calming and then balancing and then uplifting, right? All right. So then you have Elevation down in your bottom. This is your inspiring, encouraging, and cheering. This was actually the first mood oil that I used. I was using Serenity for sleep, but not for mood. And then I started using Elevation. And so this is, again, one of those that I just have a place in my heart for. This is your sunshine in a bottle. Okay, this will uplift, it will help with even the emotional fatigue, and help bring some passion and some life. This is the one that you absolutely need. You're gonna just want it to have it on hand all the time. And it's a great one for even for summer, with just a nice light scent to throw into your diffuser. It also has Melissa in it as well, which we already talked about, makes your brain happy, calms things down, okay? So this is a great one. Again, bottoms of your feet first thing in the morning. This is a great one for that. All right. Adaptive. Okay, we all love Adaptive. Everybody, Adaptive. Yep. All right. So we're huge fans. We love it. And this has been the game changer for, I think, a lot of us, if not all of us. And so if you're struggling with things, or you know people who are struggling with things like OCD or PTSD, any kind of emotion or trauma that's setting up roots in your in your system, in your nervous system, this is what you want to do. This is going to help you get a handle on that, okay? Now, they sell this in a collection, and there's a reason for that. We're going to talk about it, but I highly encourage you, if you are needing to kind of do some adjusting with oils, or if you know somebody who you're like, yes, they need this, they're going to want the whole set, okay? This is not, I have several people I have told, they're like, can I just do one? And I'm like, you could, but I'm not going to let you, because I'm doing you a disservice, because you really do need all three, okay? And nobody wants to fight with me on that. So it works really well, right? But it's also coming in and saying, like, you really need to use all three, and here's why, right? Because what's in the bottles are different, okay? And they do different things in your system. Oh, thought I had another slide on it. Just kidding. Okay, so let's talk about the calming capsules, okay? So that's going to be your little middle guy, okay? So this is not your essential oil in a capsule like some of our other products. This is actually going to be a supplement, okay? A different supplement. So this is going to have your GABA in it, okay? GABA works in our gut to help support our brain. GABA is your mediator chemical in your brain, okay? So when you have overstimulation or that lack of stimulation, GABA goes in and is like, hey guys, let's play nice, right? And again, kind of helps fill that gap, right? So that's why this is incredible for even people with depression, where we think, well, people that are struggling with depression, PTSD, like they don't really usually need to calm, they usually need to come up a little bit, right? Well, what it's doing is it's calming the chemical reaction in your brain. And so it is bringing them up, it's bringing them together, right? Which is really, really cool. So even if you're having problem with adjusting, or you're not somebody who adjusts to change well and you've got change coming, your calming blend, your capsules are going to be incredible for that, okay? This is a must-have regardless of what you have going on in your life, okay? This is one of those, when we sit down and do wellness consults, it is Lifelong Vitality, because it's incredible and we know the benefits of Lifelong Vitality, and Adaptive. And I've had people ask, well, why do I need Adaptive? I don't really struggle with that. I'm like, you don't know you're struggling with it. But what you just told me was that you get stressed out, which means that you are having some sort of chemical imbalance, right? Chronic stress, chemical imbalance. Adaptive, no question, okay? So that is your capsules. And then we have the blend. So the blend comes in your roller, and then it also comes in your 15 mil, okay? Now, this is where you can get away with just one, but let me tell you, it's silly to just buy the one, because when you buy the whole set, then you end up getting your roller for like $2, okay? So you want to buy the trio, because you do need these oils. You are going to want to diffuse. We're going to talk about diffusing pretty heavily here in the next slide. But this one is going to calm and relax you. And so if you just can't seem to get on top of it, you just can't seem to get balance, this one is really going to help. I actually have started using Adaptive alongside of Citrus Bliss or Bergamot, like a heavy citrus oil. Use these to calm and then bring the bright sunshine back in, right? Because I need that alertness, but I need my nervous system and I need my brain to like chill out, okay? So I've been using these together. It's been a phenomenal combination, okay? But you can diffuse them together. Again, I know sometimes we get a little nervous with diffusing or mixing oils. Mix them. If your intuition is telling you, like, I kind of want adaptive, kind of want some extra wild orange, kind of want, use them. Your bodies are very intuitive with the energy. The cool word is vibes, but really with the energy, right? And of what you're being attracted to, right? And because of the energy that the oils put out, if you're being attracted, like orange just sounds really good, use orange with adaptive. Don't be scared to use other oils with these. Mix what you need, kind of like sleep. Like, you're going to have to find what works really well for you. Don't be scared to experiment, and also don't be nervous to reach out to the leader that invited you to this call and ask them as well for recommendations. Again, everybody on here is using something different for stress. I can guarantee you there's not one person on here that's using the exact same thing as another person, because we all just use something different based on what our chemistry is. Okay. All right. So you have your roller bottle. Again, they designed this so that you have your straight oil for diffusing, and then the roller bottle so that you have that quick roll on, right? We love our touch oils. They're super easy to just throw in a case, throw in your bag, roll on. So you're gonna wanna do behind the ears. Again, wrist, pulse points, around the ankles actually is really great. That's for hormone balance, general hormone balance. Remember, we talked about how our emotions are actually a chemical reaction, and so using this with hormone balancing properties are incredible for that as well. And so this is a lifesaver. Okay, it's great for your high blood pressure. Again, if you start to feel that, like, I'm starting to get worked up, adaptive. Put your adaptive on. It will help bring your blood pressure back down. Okay. All right, let's move on, because I want to keep talking about it, but I'm going to spare you all from it, okay? So let's talk about diffuser blend. So again, screenshot this one if you want it. It's a good one to have. Okay, so you can see adaptive wild orange, balance wild orange, citrus bliss, sandalwood, grapefruit, elevation, all incredible. Diffusing is the absolute most effective way to adjust your emotions, hands down. The reason being is that you have so many olfactories, or you have so much in your olfactory that everything goes in and hits your brain quickly. Okay, so olfactories in here, you smell it within just a matter of seconds, it's going to hit your brain. And your brain is going to start to calm down. Okay, it actually takes less time to breathe it in than it does to put it on your skin and have it absorbed into your body. And so this is really important to be diffusing. If you're not in the habit of getting up or diffusing, getting up in the morning and starting to diffuse, going to your office and diffusing, this is something that you need to get in the habit of, right? So make it really easy. Put fill a water bottle with distilled water, put it next to your diffuser in the morning with a couple of your favorite oils, right? Make it super easy. I've started diffusing in the bathrooms when I get ready in the morning. I love that. That's kind of like my quiet time before the day breaks loose. And so I have a diffuser in my bathroom, and I have Balance, Tangerine, Citrus Bliss, Elevation, all those oils, bergamot. Those are the ones that sit in my bathroom next to my diffuser. And usually spearmint, because I like the spicy. And so that is really amazing. So get in the habit of doing that. Same thing if you're kitchen, put it next to your coffee pot, put a sticky note on your coffee pot, like turn on the diffuser, whatever it takes. Get it going, right? So oftentimes we use oils as like emergency backup for things, right? Like, I'm starting to feel agitated, but it's also getting into the habit of starting to use them on a regular basis so that you feel good and combating that, okay? All right, everybody good with this slide? Good? All right, so where to start with all of this? We covered a ton of ground very quickly, and I want to give you more, but I'm going to spare you all. Okay, so your sample wellness box, this is a great place to start. Okay, this is going to be your adaptive trio, your wild orange, Copaiba, and Balance. This is an incredible, incredible place to start, okay? This is going to get you your free oil of the month, which that is over today for this month, plus your free product credits. There are some other ones that I would highly recommend adding on, like your bergamot. Make sure that you get that as well. I would also highly recommend a Rose Touch because it's phenomenal for all things emotions. It's not in here, but it is really, really incredible for dealing with things like anger and bitterness, unforgiveness. It's a really incredible one just to put on the back behind your ears every single morning along with your Balance. Okay, that's actually going to put you at 200 PV, which is also going to get you free Immortellus month. Okay, so that's a really awesome one, but this set right here is absolutely incredible. All right, so we're going to kind of take a break. We're going to answer some questions, do that, and then we will run through some business building stuff. We're going to answer some questions as to what does it take to get your order paid for next month, and answer some general questions that we get a lot about the business. So we will go ahead and stop recording, and then we will answer some questions for you.